Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking News, our final breaking news episode for this Toastmasters year. I'm your host, David Corcoran, and it is a pleasure tonight to bring you some of our district leaders. So we wanted to focus tonight's episode on our district leaders, and they're going to share with us some of their insights, some of their ups and downs, and perhaps some inspiration for the future. So if you are a newly anointed area district director or division director, then maybe there's some useful insight for you. Or if you're someone who sees this on your radar as something that you'd like to do in the future, then listen in to tonight's episode. So my first guest is our district director. Lillian Shafter-Kohler is going to join us now to reflect on some questions that she's asked me to ask her. We've got some photos to really wrap up her year. So please, without any further ado, let's bring on Lillian. Lillian, welcome to Breaking News. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, David. It's a real honor to be here with you.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you in your presence. I know you were already this afternoon. You were at the Turkish conference. You're coming to Vienna next Tuesday. You've traveled around many parts of our district across this year. So thanks for fitting us into your busy schedule. Lillian, I want to just ask you some questions about your year, if you're interested, and we've come up with these together, but really to inspire our fellow Toastmasters and others out there. So Lillian, let me ask you as an overview, what expectations did you have at the beginning of this year, and how did things end up progressing for you as the months passed?
Well, I remember at the beginning that I was feeling really excited, honored, and full of optimism as I got ready to take on the responsibilities of the district director. And I genuinely believe, though, that all the experiences I had for the previous years had fully prepared me for this role and for the months ahead. So there I was, sure that everything would go smoothly. Yet, in the end, looking back, I realized that I was wrong, because nothing could have truly equipped me for the experience of being district director. It was marvelous and yet crazy at the same time. There were good things happening, but also many challenges, because during the year, we kept on having to shift things based on the external environment. So we went from hybrid meetings back to virtual to in-person meetings close to the end. So we kept on switching, and it kept us on our toes.
Yeah, wow. And I guess, for those who don't know, just a quick, you've been PQD, I think you've said. What were some of the roles into the lead up of to district director?
The core team roles I've taken were administration manager, PQD, and then district director.
Of course, but then you've also jumped and you've been in other roles in your past as well. You've been a Toastmaster, I think, for many years, over 20 years now, isn't it?
22.
22, yes. I remember just as you were my administration manager, I was the division director in the first year. And yeah, I mean, really, you've stepped up along the way, which is great. So looking back, Lillian, which events do you feel particularly proud of? What would you perhaps also have done differently?
I'm happy to say that there were a number of new events and activities this year that were introduced by my very active team. And they really made us proud, because we had very interesting webinars, value-added ones, and of course, the country interviews and the breaking news segments, such as this one, did put our district on the map, creating a lot of awareness. But even though I could go on and on speaking about these projects, I would like to focus now on our new country's reception, which was held last September. I don't remember if you actually attended, David.
I think I was there, or at least in the lead up, we had some ideas. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. We were discussing it because the main objective was to make our 4 new countries, Turkey, Israel, Slovenia, and Malta, feel really welcomed into our family. And I also wanted to give them the opportunity to showcase themselves so that we could get to know them. And I felt there was a lot of enthusiasm from members around the district, while the event also attracted a lot of interest globally because it was rather unique. So it was an enjoyable event to kick off the year.
And I must add that doing the country interviews, I was the project coordinator and had a small team who we'll thank next week. But they really help to, I think, bring in that sense of spirit and to learn about the cuisine, the community, and the culture of Toastmasters in each of those countries as well. I think was quite a highlight.
It was. And we wanted to be very inclusive this year. And I think all together as a team, we really worked on it. But you've also given me something a bit harder to answer regarding things that we could have done differently. It's not as though I don't have a list of regrets. I do. Some minor, some not so minor. We could have done this. We should have done that. I think it's always the case, though. It's all part of the learning experience that will be passed on to future teams. What I will say, though, is that I do wish we could have found a way to react to the changing environment even faster than we did. Had we decided to hold our contest in person at the beginning of the year, we could have saved the conference team a lot of stress. Having said that, though, we did delay because we wanted to give our members every possible chance to have in-person contests. So we were waiting to make a decision.
Yeah. And decisions have to be made, I guess. And one is that it's become obvious that you've spent a lot of time visiting individual clubs. And I have some photos here that we've put together of some of your visits. This is not normally done by all district directors. So what was your decision to do this, as I share some of the photos and highlights from your tour?
As I said, it was a difficult environment this year, and I could feel and understand the demotivation of our members having to go back online at some point. So I wanted to at least step up and let them know that I was there and that I did care. So I decided that I could at least take advantage of this virtual environment and start touring clubs, even virtually. And it was great because it allowed me to join some wonderful meetings. I would spend time with members, hear their stories, and share mine with them. It brought me close to so many of our wonderful Toastmasters. And yes, the pictures you're showing here are those from the last couple of months, as I was able to continue this tour by attending some in-person meetings in May and June. I really loved it, and I wish to thank every single club that hosted me this year, whether virtually or in person. And let me say, David, it didn't just stop there, because since the contests were online, I also spent time in every single division contest this year and in many area contests, just to be there for people. And it was an unforgettable experience for me, interacting with so many of our fellow Toastmasters.
And and you're coming to Vienna, my club, on Tuesday night, just randomly. You selected 551, where I'll be, I think, Toastmaster of the evening as well. So we very much welcome you. And I think, this is really, honestly, if I can just say from me to you, this is really inspiring, because not everyone understands who is the district director, what is their role, or they've heard of it, but they're not fully immersed unless they go through the competition season into that area. So the fact that you've reached more clubs, more people, means that more people really understand what is the district officer team and how do they support you as clubs, and having to dinner, as you see here on screen, with them is truly really inspiring as well, which is really great. And a couple more here in Athens. So you were in Athens. So hot weather in some countries, maybe colder in others. Did you have to also, take a bag full of many options when it came to your clothing choices?
Oh, yes. And it was a nightmare, because taking trains, running around with a huge suitcase, well, it wasn't fun. But as I said, it was definitely worth it. The members really enjoyed it. I think they weren't used to seeing a district director in their clubs. So it built many bridges, I felt, since I managed to do it this year. And as I said, I couldn't attend as many meetings in person, obviously, as I would have liked, but we did have the virtual experience as well. And I saw a lot of people virtually.
Yeah, well, and to know that you're there, I think is really important. So to all of your team members listening now, is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
When we started out in July, we were just a group of people who did not really know each other, and some of us had not worked together before at all. So it was tough. Everybody had their own way of working and their own problems and priorities. They wanted to do things at their own pace. And at first there was some confusion. But during the year, we did manage to build up our relationships and come together as we got the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And I am now very happy that I have formed friendships within my team this year. Friendships that I hope will last a lifetime, even beyond Toastmasters. So I just want to say thanks to all the team for your great service. The district would not have been the same without you.
Yeah, it takes a team to run a district, of course. And
Yes.
Also, to get to that point, the next question here is about your journey, and I would like to also extend that question in the sense of when you joined Toastmasters 22 years ago, did you see that you could do that, or was there a point there where I've often said people have tapped me on the shoulder and said, "It's your turn now." When was that turning point for you where you went, "Hey, I'm gonna be part of the district team, and I'm gonna see how far it could go"? Where was it in your journey, for instance, that you'd like to share with us?
Well, it definitely wasn't from the beginning. It was never my intention. I had not even thought of leadership roles. I just joined to improve my public speaking like so many other members. And for many years, I did just that. I think it's important to remember, David, that when I joined, for some years, I was a member of an undistricted club only. So I could just focus on self-development and supporting others. I did love mentoring people, seeing their enthusiasm as their speeches went well, and that was enough. Now, the pivotal point, though, I believe, came in 2018 when I was encouraged to apply for the role of administration manager, as we mentioned before. It was the newly set up District 109. I was its first administration manager. A lot of work, but I loved it. And I discovered that the AM, as they call it, the administration manager, is a very powerful role that is often overlooked because you learn so much from it. And at the end of that year, I really identified with every part of our district. Another important year was when I entered the trio. Again, I was not planning to jump into it so quickly, but I had some enthusiastic fellow Toastmasters who convinced me to try. And try I did. Now, it's true, there was a lot of work and responsibility involved in being a district leader. But again, I love supporting our members, and I really appreciated all the training given to us by Toastmasters International and everything I learned. So as you said, I moved up step by step.
Okay. And I guess, the responsibility is also quite big in that sense. There's a budget that you look after, and obviously all the clubs and the growth and the expectations from Toastmasters International. So what are your lessons learned this year as district director?
Well, let's see. It's true that many lessons were learned this year, but I have identified 5 main ones that I can share with you. First, you should learn to embrace the unexpected. I do believe you should always plan, but unless you want to spend your whole time stressed, I would advise you to always be ready to change course at a moment's notice, especially when you're dealing with a crazy year such as mine, which was rather volatile due to the external environment. The second one is don't be afraid to move off the beaten track. Definitely, you have the traditional way of doing things that works, but do try from time to time new creative ideas to increase interest, like the breaking news, for example. Recognition is golden. This is a volunteer organization, and people are working so hard to support it. They do deserve to be celebrated for it, and we must not forget that. The fourth point we've already touched on, and it's be there. Just be there as a leader. You should always be present, visible, and accessible. And finally, be kind to your team. They may not always be able to go in the same direction as you at the same pace, but always try to support and encourage them. And always listen, because then you can try and understand more and avoid conflicts.
And so would you encourage your fellow Toastmasters to join this leadership tract and take on district roles? It sounds like if I was an aspiring district director, I should think seriously about the administration role, for instance, or there may be other roles that give me the kind of overview on a path towards further development.
path towards further development, I would say, first, you do have to make sure that you take on enough roles at the club level to really understand. Do be the VP, do be the president, very important roles, and you'll be part of the overall district council. You'll start understanding the district. Then I like to start off with the role of area director. I believe it's a very good entry role into the district officer. And then you can move on from that. Definitely on the core team, administration manager, I would recommend it to people who are very serious. You don't always have to do it, but you learn a lot from it.
I remember. No, please. Yeah.
Having said that, though, all the roles can add value from finance manager. Definitely, I believe PR has been very strong this year, is what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And we acknowledge Paula Perina. Maybe she's watching. I hope she's enjoying dinner with her family tonight, which is, but she's always supported me in this breaking news project, of course. And yeah, a lot of big effort as well. People bringing their skills to the fore as well. So that's another interesting aspect. Paula has a background in marketing, so she could bring those skills to really enhance and lift the PR within our district this year.
Yes, so all the roles can lead to it. I would say start with the entry-level role of area director and then look seriously into some more roles before you go into the trio. So you can be really ready. I mean, talking to people, though, I do hear two common excuses I'd like to share with you. They don't want to become district officers because they feel there's a lot of work. Now, I will not deny that, but the learning you get out of it is so great. And the overall experience is so valuable that, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it really is worth it. And there is also a lot of fun and fellowship to benefit from as well. You become part of a very important team and are involved in many strategic decisions. The other excuse I hear, David, is, how do I know I'll be elected? I may go into so much trouble, interviews, etc. I will be stressed. I may have an opponent and I may not even get through. In answer, all I can do is turn to a story that is being used by Verity Price, our world champion of public speaking. She talks about this guy who always wanted to win the lottery, but it never happened. So he complained to God and accused God of never helping him reach his aim. The answer came back, you have to buy a ticket first. And I heard Verity say this, and I thought, how true. She was talking about trying for the World Championships, but it's the same for leadership positions. You can never hope to be the district director if you don't first buy a ticket. That is, if you don't apply and go to the interviews. So I encourage everybody to buy a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't be said better. Thank you. And what are your future plans now that the year is nearly over, Lillian?
Next year, I will be the DLC chair of our district in line with tradition. I will also be involved in a number of projects at the district level and beyond. One of my pet projects, which I was talking about at a conference earlier on today, is setting up a specialized conflict resolution team to train and guide our members. And of course, as the immediate past district director, I'll still be on the core team to advise and support the new people.
The new people. Yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful.
The new team. Yes, it's a team effort. So do you have a final message for the district? And then afterwards, I'd like to bring on one of our division directors and one of our area directors to also share some time with us. But do you have any final messages yourself?
Thank you. Yes, before I give my final message, I'd like to clarify that the DLC chair is the district leadership chair who leads the team tasked with sorting through the applications of people interested in taking on district roles. It interviews candidates and chooses whom to nominate. So that's what I'll be doing next year. And I hope that many of you will indeed, as I said before, buy your ticket and come to us.
Yes, I love that.
As a final message, David, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'd just like to say it's only 10 days to the finish line. I just want to say that I've loved serving you all this year as your district director, and I've loved meeting so many of you. Thanks for trusting me with this wonderful opportunity, And I am looking forward to seeing you all again soon. And that's it for me.
Thank
David,
you, Lillian. That's great. That's great. So stay with us for a moment because people may have questions that they want to type in the chat, or they want comments are welcome. So what we'd like to do now is bring on Division Director Günther Herol, DTM, and Area Director Toastmaster Gittel Hesselberg, who is an Area Director in Division F, B3. So
B.
Oh, Division B, Area B3. I looked it up even on the national. I apologize. So welcome, Toastmaster Gittel and Toastmaster Günther, to Breaking News.
Good evening. Hello.
Thank you, David.
It's wonderful to have you both. And so the four of us are here, and really the people are watching on, they may have questions, which is nice. But from the perspective, you've both been on Lillian's team this year, which is, I'm sure, been also a wonderful highlight of your time. But Lillian, too, before mentioned the challenges of hybrid and in-person and sort of getting about there. I'd like to ask you both, really, what are some of your thoughts or reflections on your role? Let's start with you, Gittel, first, as area director. What were your thoughts on the role?
It was very interesting. As you know, Israel just became part of the district this year. So I was the first area director. I didn't have a role model to model myself after. I was learning by doing, and it was a very interesting experience. I learned so much this year. It was a rewarding experience. We had some highs, some lows, mostly highs. So it was very good.
Excellent, excellent. And Günther, Division Director, also claiming your DTM in this year. So you've been working hard. And you mentioned before we jumped on, you're also completing your master's thesis. So, I mean, you've bitten off plenty and you're chewing it. So what's been your highlight as Division Director for Division F, which is Austria and Slovenia?
Yeah, thank you, David. The highlight was, of course, the integration of Slovenia to Division F. So in the years before, and you know it because you have been the first division director of Division F when we became our own division with the Austrian clubs. So we could grow now with additional clubs from Slovenia, and this was a very interesting experience to see how they integrate, to see how the clubs in southern Austria are connecting to the clubs and the peers, and how we could exchange information. So this was a very nice experience to be a bigger community than in the past.
To really and bringing everyone together and being inclusive, as has been the theme for this year. I just putting two together here, two and two together. Lillian, you mentioned that when you started, Cyprus was undistricted, then became part of the district. So Gittel now is in that similar situation, going from undistricted to being part of 109, first area director for B3. In those first few years for your area in Cyprus, were there any challenges that you could share for Gittel that maybe there's some source of, how to, I guess you all want to grow. We want all of our areas and clubs and divisions to grow, of course. So any thoughts, Lillian, for Gittel?
One thing I would like to mention is that when Cyprus joined the district, we were very, very excited. We thought it would bring about a lot of change. But maybe because it was the year before the district split, nobody really paid much attention to us. And we felt very confused in that first year. Cyprus was not a complete area in the first year. Just like Slovenia, it joined other countries. So we felt a bit left out. And this is something I didn't want for our new countries this year. That's why we had the new country reception, and I tried to, talk to all the area directors, division directors, and of course go to all the clubs in the new countries. I really wanted them to feel part of our district.
Great. And Gittel, do you feel part of the district?
Absolutely. Lillian has been more than spectacular in how she made us feel welcome and feel a part of the district.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And certainly we want, I don't believe, I haven't heard of any further European splits at this point. So, I mean, there certainly should be some stability across District 109, therefore, for the considerable, few years to come to really help all of our divisions and areas grow as well. So what about the personal challenges now for you both, Gittel and Günther, juggling responsibilities that you have in life, but when you signed up to be area director and division director, did you have some idea about what the work would involve and the time commitment in those roles, or was it a struggle or a juggle or somewhere else that you went? Günther, would you like to go first?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the thing is, in the beginning, of course, you have expectations, right? And you also have a very proper description of the job that you're taking on. And I had a huge team. I had 6 people, so 3 area directors and 2 supporting roles to run the year. And one of the specific of the Toastmasters year is that in the first half, there is not that much going on, but from January onwards, there is every month another focus. Right. Mm-hmm. So you have your club officers trainings, and then you start with the club contests and the area contests and so on and so on, up to the elections in May for the new year. And as COVID became worse last fall, the team somehow a little bit lost speed and lost power. And so the effort was larger for the remaining supporters and for the remaining team, and a lot of the things that we thought we can fix, where we knew that there will be struggles in communication, for example, and we knew that we want to do more cross the areas, so we want to have more interaction between the clubs. And this turned out to be a tricky one. So the one thing was the COVID situation, and the other thing was simply that we saw that that we have a problem with the energy. But so it was a very interesting task to help the clubs to stay motivated, to run contests, and what we have seen was amazing, right? And also, thanks to the virtual environment, it is very easy to reach out for help because you're only a mouse click away. And in the former times, you needed a plane or at least a train to travel to a club that was
That's true. That's true. And before we move to you, Gittel, I guess reflecting, this COVID situation in a way could turn out to be a future blessing in the sense of that bringing of hybrid, or the bringing of, as you say, a click away to get an answer and to meet with your fellow district officers and not have to, wait for a DECOM in person, a plane ride away to get an answer or to connect. Yeah. We've all gotten used to that. And of course, we all want to embrace being back in person, but a nice way to reflect that actually the connection is closer. The energy, as you said, is a little low, but let's get the connection.
And there's one thing I want to add. I think we will see this after a period of time. So when this situation appeared, there was still the need, or we thought there is the need of a lot of public speaking. Of course, with everyone in the home office, the focus shifted to speaking on camera. So, but the leadership focus went a little in the background. Then we saw, hey, managing virtual teams is also what we need at work. So yeah, this is super interesting, but there are no conferences. There is no presentation on stage. Now, today, we already see clubs are coming back. Now we have a demand also to see our customers or our business colleagues on in larger rooms and on stages. So this demand now also comes back. And I think we have a more diverse offering now for the future with the hybrid setups, and they won't go away.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. Gittel, what about some of your thoughts then about also the role and the challenges and any energy loss in this year, or has it been great to be part of District 109 and that's helped you to grow and expand and attract new people?
It has been wonderful. Luckily for me, I don't have much of a life outside of Toastmasters, so I can devote almost as much time as I need to Toastmasters. And I have to say that COVID has been a blessing for the clubs in Israel. Two of the clubs have already made the decision to be permanently online clubs, and the third club is trying to be hybrid. And that allowed us to open up the membership to everywhere in the world. People no longer are bound geographically to a particular club. That allowed us to recruit more members, which was our biggest problem, was membership.
Okay.
And that has helped so much.
That's great. Yeah. And so maybe you might have more clubs popping up in the years to come, potentially.
We're trying. We're
Yeah.
trying.
I mean, that's honestly where we were as Austria, 4 years ago when we became part of 109. The then district director, Francisco Fedele, said, right, you've got to have three areas, 4 clubs, go for 12. And now it's grown. I don't know what the current count is going to, with Slovenia coming in. We're expanding, and there's been new club growth development, corporate clubs, and a few things popping up. So it can take a few years. And we were in the beginning as Austria kind of concerned, well, how do we make it work? Where do we get people from? So it's great to hear that you've got more interest internationally, of course, and that makes sense in this time to maximize the online opportunities that could come your way as well. Now, I don't know if we're letting the cat out of the bag, but Gittel, you are going on to be a division director. So congratulations.
Thank
this
you.
is exciting news. So, let's use this moment to also hear your thoughts about, what are you excited about as being division director? You've got Günther here and Lillian and myself, actually, we've all been division directors at some point. So, yeah, what are you looking forward to this coming year?
One of the things that I did as area director was try to make the area cohesive rather than 3 discrete clubs feel as an area. And that's what I'd like to do with the division. Rather than 3 discrete areas, I want us to be a division as a whole. Now, for our spring training, I did, as my HPL project for one of my paths, arranged to have a TLI for the whole division. I didn't do it on my own. I had help from the other division directors, and it was quite successful. It was more successful than I expected. I want to continue that in the coming year for both the fall and the spring training. And maybe we could even expand it to include another division or 2. So
Great.
that is one of the things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And of course, I would like all the advice that you can give me.
Well, I don't have any advice. Günther, do you have any last words or advice before we wrap up now in this moment for Gittel?
I hear what you plan, and I think you will also find this challenge of have a proper communication between the division, the area, and the clubs. I think this is a crucial thing, and it's so important to find really a very good way in a time where everyone wants to be reached on a specific channel. And you have not an email that you can send and everyone reads, or you have a specific homepage where everyone looks it up, the information that you're posting there. No, everyone is everywhere, and everyone is expecting you to be in this place where they are. And this is something that is also in business life really a big challenge, and this is something that we need to solve. And I'm looking forward to have a conversation and to find best practices and to also connect you with Division F. And
there you go. Well, mentoring. Yes,
I look forward to that.
Breaking news, new mentoring cross divisions and district. And I think that's what it's all about. So Lillian, Gittel, and Günther, I know some of you have to move on now and do other things. So thank you for being part of tonight's special on district leadership and sharing your insights as the district director, as an area director and division director. We do appreciate that. And obviously people could reach out to you with questions as well. So thank you very much. Let's all sign off. We do appreciate you being here with us tonight. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
David.
Thank you, David.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are watching on, maybe you've got some comments or feedback and thoughts. We welcome that as well. At any stage, you might be also looking back on this breaking news, and please feel free to reach out to your district leaders and ask them, what was it like? Get in touch, have a coffee. I have never met somebody in leadership in Toastmasters who's never been willing to sit down with me for a few minutes or a cup of coffee and just give me the ins and outs. And certainly I try to do the same thing to those who ask me. And I think that's important, to really pass on the banner and really or the baton, I should say, using an athletics analogy, pass on the baton and to really ensure the future success of our Toastmasters District 109. So to finish up, I'd like to, as always, share with you tomorrow's weather. So in Athens, it's going to be cloudy but sunny with 31. In Ankara, 29 and sunny. It seems very hot across the district this week. In Jerusalem, 29 and sunny. Ljubljana, 32 and sunny. Nicosia, 33 and sunny. Rimini, 32 and sunny. Sofia, 27 and sunny. In Birkirkara, it's 29, cloudy but sunny. In Vienna, 32 showers and thunderstorms. So I'm not looking forward to that. Maybe when Lillian joins us, maybe the sunshine will be back. And in Bern, it will be 32 and sunny as well. So that ends our final breaking news for this year, this District 109 Toastmasters year. We do aim to be back, and so we're looking forward to sharing with you, perhaps in our next episode, highlights from the Hall of Fame that's coming up next week in Ljubljana. So check out district109.org for further news and information about our district. I wish you a wonderful week, a wonderful Toastmasters year. If you're just finishing, pat yourselves on the back. If you're about to start, then brace yourself, grab a mentor, and make sure you connect, learn, and grow. Good evening. My name is David Corcoran, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.